Jordan. What's up?
I'm working on that flyer for our study. Since the IRB submission deadline is coming up and we need to get approval for any advertising ahead of time, I wanted to make sure it's included with the application. I also need to take that online training course tomorrow, so I'd like to tackle that flyer today if you have time.
Sure. Yeah. What ideas do you have?
I was thinking we could put flyers up around here, to attract people in the building. Maybe post some up by the elevators and in that hallway that leads to the parking garage. As for the flyer itself, I'm thinking we go with something nice and bright with catchy graphics, Include something about the research's purpose, basic time commitments. It would also be a draw if we mentioned people are going to get paid to participate.
I like your ideas, but let's be really careful about what we say, especially with compensation. The IRB has policies about what we can put on advertisement. Maybe we should look at those before we get started. I have some notes from that training that I took before I completed my last research study. Want to look at those?
I know the IRB has strict rules about the consent forms and the consent process, but there's no rules about flyers, are there?
Oh no, there certainly are. Since advertising and recruitment are seen as the first steps in the consent process, that means they have to be approved by the IRB. See, flyers and ads are where people get their first sense of what the research will be about. So it's very careful that it's not misleading or that it's not promising something people don't feel they can turn down.
That's news to me. Maybe I should have taken the training before I made the flyer.
Yeah, there certainly are a lot of guidelines on what not to do. Let me show you some of my notes. I think this will help you, Jordan. Here we go. It says that advertising should not be coercive or promise the certainty of benefits beyond what is outlined in the consent and the protocols. And I wrote here that researchers have to be extra careful if their research includes participants who are considered vulnerable, which could mean economically disadvantaged.
Yeah, that's definitely something we need to be careful about.
Yeah. We also have to be careful about things like lettering and font size. For instance, we can put that participants will be paid, but we can't focus in on that payment or the amount to be paid using things like large or bold type to get attention.
This goes deeper than I thought.
Yeah, definitely. We also need to make sure that people know that this is research. We don't know that the approach that we're taking is the best one. We don't want participants to think they're getting the latest and the greatest interventions until we have completed the research and seen what the data analysis shows.
I know we were thinking down the road that we may want to expand our advertising and recruitment in case the study doesn't get the type of enrollment numbers we need. But do we have to iron all that out now before we send the study to the IRB?
No, we're good there. If we want to change something, we just can't actually make those changes until the IRB approves it. But we can definitely submit for changes through an amendment process.
Oh, okay, that's good. I'm glad I spoke to you about the flyer. That makes sense. I just didn't realize there were specific requirements for the advertising. I guess I'd better get to that training now.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, once you're done, let's talk a little bit more about advertising and how we'll market your study. I'll even help you draft the flyer.
Sounds good. Thanks, Roman.
My pleasure, Jordan.